Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of
Girl, you know it.
We are so glad you're joining us for the 5th episode of season 5. If you're just tuning in, this is for the first time. Girl, You Know It is a podcast brought to you by Black Women Connect Vancouver.
Black Women Connect Vancouver is a collective of women and femmes who come together to inspire, empower, leverage our strength, and embrace our diverse experiences. It's a community where folks in Vancouver can build meaningful relationships and celebrate the beauty of Black womanhood. The podcast is our way of continuing that mission by sharing stories, building community, and talking about things that affect us the most. My name is Abby. I am one of your regular co-hosts. I'm also the project coordinator of Black Women Connect Vancouver. And I will let our other regular co-hosts introduce ourselves. The wonderful, the only...
I don't know what's happening with this intro. This is new to me. I'm literally like, what's happening? She's like,
the energy.
Black Women Connect Vancouver. I'm like, black.
It's a game show.
I know.
Come on down.
I'm like, okay, she didn't say our mandate. Yes, my name is Nataisa McQuavy. I'm the founder of Black Women Connect Vancouver, and I'm excited to be your other host. And we are joined by the lovely,
The wonderful
Elle.
Elle.
She is back.
She's back. The gang is
She's
back
back.
together. I love it. I think that's why the energy is so slightly chaotic. Is because we're like together again.
Gang, gang, gang.
Yes, we love it. We love it. Welcome here, Elle. We're so excited for you to be joining us for this episode.
Thank you.
And to kind of share more about your journey through endometriosis and fibroids.
Yes.
So tell us, Elle, tell us why you're here today and why you want to talk about this important topic.
Okay. For those who don't know me, just like rolling it back. So my name's Elle. I used to be a part of Black Women Connect Vancouver. I was with you for almost 5 years.
Yeah.
For a long time. And I decided to take a step back, mainly because of my mental health and physical health. And I think this kind of all influences it. And so I have been dealing and struggling with fibroids I was trying to count back the timeline, and I found out that I had fibroids in 2017.
Okay.
And this is just a pure accidental thing.
Yeah.
I just went to get an IUD inserted, and then they were checking placement, and the midwife was like, "Oh yeah, and here's some fibroids. These are your fibroids." And I was like,
Oh, what?
"What?" And then she's like, "Okay, then you're on your way." I'm like, "Oh, but wait, what?" And then I was like, "Okay." And then thinking back to my periods and being like, "Okay, got out really young. I've always had really heavy flows. Always had a lot of pain and that kind of thing." But I didn't really think anything of it until right before the pandemic. I just started having more symptoms. And I just felt like it was getting out of control. I had a friend who had said, "I have fibroids. I think that you maybe do too. Maybe you should go and get that checked out." And in BC, you don't really doctors are not they're not many. So I had to go to several walk-in clinics to figure out how to get
A specialist.
or referral to something to investigate. And so that's kind of what started me on my journey. And that's why I'm here.
So amazing. Thank you for
amazing.
so amazing that she's here to share her story.
Yeah.
No, this is why I'm saying, because a lot of Black women, these things are not talked about we say almost every episode, right? And these conditions impact so many Black women, and yet they're misunderstood, underdiagnosed, and often dismissed altogether.
100%.
Just from you sharing your personal understanding of how you got to know these fibroids.
Oh, 100%. The one walk-in clinic doctor was this old white man, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's not gonna take me seriously." And he didn't. He literally didn't. And the only reason why he did was because I was like, "And I'm a nurse at BC Women's Hospital, and I work with gynecologists and obs." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And then he decided to refer me to
because he's like, "You're aware of
how to advocate
for yourself."
And I'm like, imagine if I didn't have the nurse card. That is wild to me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. So what was the process of getting diagnosed like? You just kind of explained, they did this, but what was the next step after you're like, okay, let me actually take this seriously. Let me find out more about
this. Because, you know, that original, like, very brief was just like a placement check. So it wasn't really like looking for my fibroids. So then I berated that old white man doctor to give me a referral to a gynecologist. And so I ended up getting a referral, but then it ended up like in the time of COVID, like that first year in 2020. So that I got booked in and then they canceled it because it was at like, you know, like the first like 3 or 4 months when everything was kind of like amok and askew. So then I had to wait and do another referral. So I had to go back and like, get another one from a different doctor, and then got to see a gynecologist like 6 months later. Great gynecologist, listened to me, was wonderful. But like the process is slow. So like you get the gynecologist and then like, or like they do the ultrasound, then you like wait 3 months and then you get the gynecologist and then you like wait 3 months and then do the thing. So I think that was really frustrating because it was like,
you just want to know what's
start.
I want to know what's happening. I want to be able to like plan my life. And like, once you're aware of like a diagnosis that you have, then everything's kind of like, is that fibroids? Like, is that what's going on? Because I just normalized what my
you
periods
were feeling.
So, like, honestly, like sometimes I just forget that I have it, and then I have to stop and be like, oh yeah, this is normal. This is actually not normal. My friends who like, I have like 2-day periods.
I know. I
can't
just
like,
people
get
like that.
out of here.
Like, get that out of my face because I cannot look at you right now. Like, no. So that was really frustrating because like then I'm like now aware and being like, oh, this is what I'm experiencing. It's uncomfortable. Like your quality of life is kind of like, you know, like lessened because of it. And so fast forward, I had my gynecologist visit. He suggested a myomectomy. So that's a surgery to remove fibroids. During the time, like the first couple of visits, he's like, just so you know, your uterus is littered with fibroids. I'm like, that's what I want to hear from a gynecologist, that you got so many little fibroids.
And did this happen that 6 months after your first initial?
Yes. This was like a second visit.
Okay.
This was like he met with me and then he wanted to do more investigation.
And that was 6 months after your diagnosis of like you
official,
have fibroids.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And so he's like, okay, so like let's plan for like a removal of some of the fibroids. We can't get all of them because they're too small. So we're just gonna like monitor them. So I have to go for a pelvic ultrasound. So that's 6 months waiting. And then he's like, okay, so there is a surgeon who's going to accept you based on your pelvic ultrasound. That was another like 3 months. And then he's like, okay, now that surgeon's like, now we're going to get you on the wait list for a surgery. And that's like a month or two. So like just like timing, it just like gets longer and longer.
So long.
And like for someone who's like used to pain, I'm like, I can wait. And I know the healthcare system because I'm a nurse and I understand. But imagine if I was feeling way worse and it was like, I could not work.
Crippling.
Yeah. Like people are debilitated from like stuff like this.
Yeah. So how many fibroids at this point did they say we're going to attempt to take out, but maybe when we open you up?
So they told me that they were going to attempt to take out 3 or 4.
Okay. And what size?
What size?
When I met with my surgeon, I want to say that was in like September, October of 2022. He was like, they are a little bit less than the size of like you know, like a quarter? But like a rounded thing. So like that's how the size. By the time that it came, they had grown.
Right.
So that was like the fall of 2022. Then I had my surgery in January 2023. And he had taken out my fibroids. My gynecologist was there with him in surgery. They came to see me, and no shade, but I think my surgeon is like on the spectrum or something. It's like very weird. He came, checked on me. He's like, okay, so we took out 4 fibroids. We found some endometriosis, and I'll check on you in a week. And I was like,
what?
That's another
Just
diagnosis.
Just like that. Like that's how I found out that I had endometriosis.
That's wild.
I said,
and just like boom. Just another thing.
Just another thing.
That's a whole different diagnosis.
Oh, like, completely different.
Yes.
And I think because like as women with uteruses or people with uteruses, anything that has to do with our...
They think that we understand it already.
Or just like minimize the impact that it has in our lives, which is why there's no research or like whatever. Don't get me started on the amount of funding that Viagra gets compared to...
Thank you.
Oh.
Sorry. I won't get started, but
anything with men's health gets funded. But if it's women's health,
underfunded.
we're
We're carrying the world.
But we're half the population, and we're birthing
the world.
the next generation. What?
They don't care about
They don't.
That's another.
Yeah, so we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna get that. We're trying to keep the energy light.
Yes.
Jeez. Okay, so he gave you this diagnosis and then said, "We'll see you next time."
Yeah.
What?
That's a great question.
Thanks for coming in.
Great question, because to be really honest with you, that was the end of it for really. Yeah, like he had mentioned it to my gynecologist, and they were like, what are your symptoms like? Do you want to start on certain medication and that kind of stuff? I'm like, I'm open to medication, but I really want to be followed up in a proper way with care. And so I really pushed for a referral to BC Women's Hospital, pelvic and endo clinic. And my gynecologist was like, well, I don't know if we need it. It's like a year and a half to wait. I said, listen, if it's a year and a half to wait, just put me on the wait list now.
Yeah.
So by the time I get there, I can decide, do I still want to do this? Do I still? But if I delay, it's just another year and a half from when I decide to do it.
Oh my goodness.
Put me in, coach. Do it.
But you had to advocate for yourself.
But I had to
about
advocate
that.
for myself again. And I understand they want to push. Sorry. They want to prescribe medication. I'm trying to be kind, because medication is really, really helpful and great and can impact in a good way. But I, again, was more when it comes to hormones in my body and I want to explore different types of things. But again, the healthcare system is pharmaceutical based, right? So if I wanted to really explore other options, I was going to have to do a little bit more of the homework myself, or connect with different other practitioners who are not really embedded in the primary care health system.
Okay.
It was super frustrating.
Yeah.
I mean, it was super frustrating, because I was I can deal with it, but I kept thinking if I wasn't a nurse, then
and you didn't have the knowledge.
I didn't have the knowledge that
Yeah.
Because there are people out there who okay, could we explain? You said fibroids and endometriosis. We talked about how they're two separate things. Give us a little quick notes about these two things.
So fibroids are non-cancerous masses that grow within your uterus,
Tumors.
Tumors. Yes. And so you can have one and it may not cause any issues. You can have a lot and they're small, not cause any issues. You can have one small one and that causes it just depends on the person.
And where it's placed.
Yeah.
I found that out recently.
And where it's placed. Y'all, sometimes I'm oh, my bladder, I gotta go to the, nope, that's probably just a fibroid, just pressing on it.
It can be on different side, because you can have it inside your uterus, you can have it outside. It's actually crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And then endometriosis is when the lining of your uterus grows in places that is not your uterus.
Yes.
So it could be on the outside, it could be on your GI tract, it could be, people found endometriosis on their stomach, on lungs, on
Crazy.
And then when you have your period and your body is secreting hormones, that tissue responds wherever it is in your body.
Crazy.
So that's fun,
So fun. Okay, so because you were continuously trying to advocate for yourself, were there moments, or let's say this, what advice would you give to listeners who know that there's something going on in their body, but they don't know how to advocate for it?
Yes. Number one thing I would say is to track your symptoms. So track your, the days that you have your period, what type of flow it is. If you get your period, start it and then stop and it comes back again, pain and where that pain is located, the scale from 1 to 10, track. If you bring all this information,
all
let's
that
say
data.
it's data.
Yeah.
You want to play the game that they're playing, which is they want information, they want numbers, they want to be able to look and go, oh, for 6 months you've tracked your period cycle and this is what you're experiencing. They can't refute data.
Yeah.
It sucks that you have to fight with numbers and not just be I believe because of what you're saying, but it's easier to do that. So that's the number one thing I would say. Track everything, not just for not just for this and like periods and endo and fibroids, but for anything in the healthcare system. Check your symptoms, show them that like I've been experiencing this, and like the mental health toll that it's had on me. That's another thing that will really like bolster advocating for yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
With the after you had the surgery, like what do you feel like recovery was like for you?
So recovery was okay. I don't think my pain was managed very well from the get-go. I don't think that they gave me enough pain medication in the hospital. And I don't want to be like racism, but like
racism?
Like, because like everybody who I talked to before, just to get like have an understanding to reduce my own anxiety, was like, oh yeah, you wake up on a cloud, you're just high. I woke up and I thought that I was in hell, like literally.
I'm sorry.
Like 12 out of 10 pain. I've never had that much pain, and I've had pain for decades.
Right.
So like I know what pain is. I got so many tattoos, like that don't hurt my head because I'm like, oh, I'm so used to pain. That was the worst pain. And then you're chasing that as like they want you to get up and walk, to go to the washroom, to discharge you, to like be able to like that kind of stuff. So like that I think really did impact me and set me like kind of back in terms of my recovery, because then I was just like mentally get scared to like get up, because you're like, oh, like you're bracing. And my surgery was a myomectomy, a laparoscopic myomectomy, and usually it's like just small little pinpoints, but because of the size of my fibroids, they had to like do like almost like a C-section incision as well, and so like that was another like thing to recover from.
Right. And you weren't expecting that, right?
He had warned me, but again, I thought that I was going to have good pain management, and I did not. And
how long were you in the hospital for?
Just an overnight for one night. Yeah, yeah.
And so then when you went home, the recovery was better, or
the recovery was like, it was slow going, and I did give myself a time. Like I took off 2 months from work, which was good, but it did take some time. Yeah.
So you said you wish they managed your pain
a lot better.
What other options did you use for that pain medication, or even just managing the endometriosis, your fibroids? Like, are you looking at holistic health, or like what did you do for yourself? Like
afterwards or before? Afterwards, I mean, I was doing a little bit more in terms of like what I was eating and making sure that like, endometriosis and fibroids is essential, like they're inflammatory illnesses. So you're trying to ensure that you are not consuming a lot of foods that would aggravate it. And so I was good half the time. Even as like a nurse, I'm like, I know I shouldn't, but like this wine is so good, like I'm gonna live forever, like that kind of thing. So like I'm still on my journey really to like be more conscious and like aware and intentional about like what I'm putting in my body, like how much I'm consuming, because like now I'm like, okay, I want to drink a glass of wine, I can do that, but like I'm not gonna go and do that every single day, or like so I think it's just being a lot more aware. I tried acupuncture, I tried Chinese medicine, like different types of like practitioners that are not necessarily like Western medicine, because that's been around for eons, and so why not try something that's actually been working for a lot of people. So I was trying a lot of that too.
How do you balance, so now that you've kind of gone through this process, how are you balancing like having this chronic pain, or do you feel that it's a chronic pain now?
So now I'm trying to like, I'm beautiful minding it right now in my brain to like, so after the surgery, I realized that I was doing too much. Like my life was just too full.
You were.
She
really was doing too much.
But she would tell us we were doing too much.
Yes, exactly.
So, I mean, I'm one of those people who will like say yes, and not like, not have good boundaries, but be like, these are good things that I want to support. And my friends are great people, and I want to show up for them. But I was like running myself ragged before and after the surgery. And so for a year, I think I was like, I'm still in it. Let's go. And then at some point, I can't do it anymore. So managing my pain and everything was also like, how am I showing up for myself intentionally? I took a step back from consulting because I was doing that on the side, but felt a lot more full time. Took a step back from Black Women Connect just to like reset. And y'all, it was stressful because I'm like, wait, what am I supposed to be doing? Like,
Yeah, when they're
I'm
not
like,
sitting there.
I'm
You're
like-
so used to
I'm
that.
like, people just have one thing that they do. Well, that's boring. Like, what? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
And so, I think that was a major reason why I could manage my pain in a better way. I mean, I still get pain, but it feels different in my
Right.
body.
Because you're not adding stress to it.
I'm not adding stress to it. I know my limits and I play within it. I hate that BC whatever has taken that, but yeah.
Not the lottery.
Yeah. But.
Were there any moments you realized that you needed more support, and how did you find it?
Support, like,
In terms of your recovery, whether it was like emotional, mental.
yeah.
Talk
So,
about it.
Oh, she didn't tell us anything. Yeah. We just showed up with food.
Yes.
So I'm a person who also doesn't like to ask for help.
Yes.
And that's what I'm working on it in therapy right now with my therapist. So please don't comfort me right now. But at the time, like, so after my surgery, actually one of my best friends, Hillary, she was like, hey, you're going to come home with me
Yes.
and stay for like 2 or 3 nights, because I know that if you don't go you will go home and try to do stuff on your own. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
I cannot let you do that. And I went, okay. And then somebody else ended up organizing like a DoorDash gift card.
Yeah.
I was so uncomfortable with that. It was uncomfy. But I think that was like the beginning of me being like, I can actually lean on people.
Yeah.
And let people take care of you.
And let people take care of me. That's a whole other episode. But it's been a journey, and being like, okay, I actually do need some support, or even like just to like vent, like, oh my gosh, like I have like a 12-day period, like this freaking sucks. Like just be able to like name it, and I was doing that, but I really wasn't like leaning into it.
How frustrating it actually
How
is.
frustrating it actually is. I was just more like, c'est la vie.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
This is my
This is my
life.
life. This is my normal. Like, you know what I mean? Whereas like, I think that's the whole point as to why it's an issue for us. We're normalizing it so much. And there's a difference between like, woe is me. I'm in the pits of despair. I can't do anything. There's an equilibrium between that. I need to get there, and I got there. I really did.
found my way.
I found my way for sure. And then people like being curious and asking me follow-up questions, and then me being like, okay, I'm gonna lean in and answer, rather than like lean out and be like, I'm uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like that. I needed to do that. Like. Is huge. And even like my sisters, like I leaned on my sister Nick so much, like afterwards, being like, you know, these are people in my life that I've showed up for. Like, why don't I let them show up for me? Like, it's almost like a slap in the face to be like, here, and like, but I'm not accepting your love.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's very rude. I've been told.
You're learning.
But I'm learning.
You've learned.
Yeah.
What do you think that our community needs to do better in learning more about the Black uterine health? Like, as you've gone through your experience, has there anything you said to yourself, wow, if only Black women knew, or if only people understood this, things could change? Or let's talk about this more.
Yeah, I think it's like an issue of things being normalized, and the trope of like, Black women got it all, Superwoman Black, like, you know what I mean, like that kind of thing. And so Black women go, yeah, I've got my issues, I've got my health issues, but at the end of the day, I still gotta hustle, I still gotta like show up for my family. So I think I just wish that people like were more in tune with their bodies, listen to their bodies more. I think we get so detached from our bodies when we're working and we're friending and we're living, that we live here, but we never like go down and go, I wonder what my body's feeling right now. Because
And how to listen to it.
and how to listen to it, because like, again, fibroids and endometriosis is an inflammatory illness.
Yeah.
Inflammatory illnesses are aggravated by stress.
Yeah.
the last 5 years has just been stressful for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's just like a baseline. Add racialized, add being a woman, add like, you know what I mean? So like there's like multiple intersections of stress. So I think that like, I wish people just were more aware. Even coming today, I was like, I feel weird in my body. And then I just like sat with my body and I was like, oh, I'm getting cramps. Like I know I'm feeling pain in my pelvis. Like that's the reason why. And then I could react appropriately versus just like ignoring it and just being like, I don't know why I'm all, you know what I mean? So I wish we talked more about that. Like, and more from like a holistic thing. Like, yeah, we can have the discussions around like doctors coming in and all that kind of stuff, but like embodiment stuff as well, which I think sometimes Black women are getting more on board with it and like living our soft life, but like not just soft life and like activities, but like soft life and like embodiment.
And talking about it, sharing our stories. And that's why having you here is so important, because I think there are probably a lot of women who can relate to a portion of your story, but don't know what steps to take for it. So in that way, for anyone listening who suspects they may have fibroids or endo, or just feels like something is not right, what would you want them to know? What would you want them to know?
I would want them to know, or at least like start getting to know the avenues in which they can access the healthcare system. I think figuring out your primary healthcare provider is huge, so that when something comes up, you're not scrambling, and that makes people more anxious. I think knowing what other practitioners are out there, so physiotherapy, massage therapy, all the kind of stuff, accessing your benefits to use those, like getting yourself in a mental space that is like, I don't want to say peaceful, but it's like less stressful. That's just going to impact the way that you live your life. And then I think like I wish that people would know more people who have this. Like honestly, I think knowing that like my friends have like the same illness as me, and not that we're like trading cards and like, hey, like I got this, like, but like it's just like solidarity, it's like camaraderie, being like, I'm not insane, and like this one obscure symptom, do you have it? Like, you know what I mean? And so I think I just
talk to each other,
and I think that you are doing a really good job in like creating opportunities for people to like engage in that community and really like talk about it and name it, and not just like sit and be like, it's only me, and then they gaslight themselves. That's another thing. Please don't gaslight yourself.
Please don't.
I know that the world and the healthcare system is going to be like, are you sure you want a referral? You say yes. You say, I'm looking at the camera. You say yes.
You say yes. Say yes.
And if they don't want to do it for you, you tell them, write that in my chart. And then they go,
denied me.
Oh, oops. Okay, I guess I will.
That's a good thing to say. Yes, make sure that they write it down.
Yeah, well,
and
say, if
you
they
denied my referral.
You're allowed to say that.
That's good,
because then it makes them go, oops. If something does happen, that's on me. I'm the one who done fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to that end, if you want to bring like a friend, like to like kind of like buddy. I can be your buddy. I can be. I can do that. I always tell people, my friends, I'm like, if you want a nurse in there, I will come and bully the doctor.
No, I also think it's really important, because sometimes I'm like that person. I get into a situation and then I'm like, I'm in it, and then I forget, and like all of the thoughts or the questions that I may have just disappear. So if I have somebody else advocating for me, or
totally.
taking a video or recording,
who records her session so she can
remember it. Yeah, absolutely.
I started recording everything now in my sessions, because I'm like, oh, what did they say again?
Absolutely. When it comes to you, when it pertains to you, you kind of like go blank. And also there's a power differential.
Yes.
I'm a patient, you're a doctor, you hold the keys to my health and well-being. Yeah. So like if you have somebody else who's like, oh yeah, also she wanted to know about this.
Yes. Exactly.
Also we wanted to ask about that. I'm sorry to all the doctors who like get that. Yeah. I'm not trying to like.
But sometimes you're not the best advocate for yourselves, but having other people there to help you advocate. I'm like that. I'm that person who I will forget whatever, but my friend, I'm going to tell everything, right? This is what she needs to know. 100%. This is what. Yeah. So having somebody there to support you
Yeah.
and to like advocate for you is really important.
It's so important. And I think it'll just get a lot further in the system.
Yes.
You know?
So now that you are at this stage of your journey, is there anything that you feel like, do you feel that you need to have another surgery? Do you feel like more fibroids have grown? Like what has happened in this next stage?
Yeah, that's a great question.
We like know, but please.
I have to be professional now.
I know.
Yes.
Tell them about your life. So I was accepted into BC Women's Pelvic and Endo Clinic.
Yes.
I had my appointment in March, April, whatever month it was. And I ended up meeting with a very lovely doctor. He came in and he's like, what would you like to get out of today? I'm like, I've never had a doctor say that. It was an old little like brown man. I was like, oh, this is so nice. And so I told him like, hey, I'm dealing with a lot of fibroids. I'm dealing with my endometriosis. The pain is an issue, but I'm like, the bleeding is like the most thing, like 10 to 12 day periods, bleeding in between, bleeding with sex, bleeding. I'm like, that's just like, I cannot live that way. It's just very frustrating. And so he was like, okay, what are you thinking about, child rearing and that kind of thing? I'm like, well, I've been, really leaning into like the more child-free thought. So it's not like that big of a deal to not be able to have kids. So anyways, he ended up like doing an ultrasound, and the first thing he says, I've never heard a doctor do this. He goes, wow.
Not wow.
Wow. So many wow. I was like, yeah. I've never heard a doctor just like pause and like exclaim, wow. So many fibroids. And then, 10 minutes later, I'm like, okay, so just at like a ballpark, like how many fibroids did you see? He's like, there are at least 24 fibroids in your uterus, like every corner, everything, everywhere. I said, that makes sense. Definitely makes sense. So coming into this, I was gonna ask for like, what are the steps towards getting a hysterectomy? I'd already been thinking about it. It's been in the back of my head because I'm like, if I'm going to be child free, that's fine. Like, I don't need my own children. I want to foster and adopt if I do. And so he was like, okay, so here's the options. We can go from like medication and like this. And like, he looks at me. He's like, I don't recommend a myomectomy to remove your fibroids because there's so many and they're going to grow. And he like pauses and I'm like, what are your thoughts on a hysterectomy? He goes, yes. I'm like,
a definite.
Oh, he's like, yeah, I don't know what you feel about having kids, but I would suggest a hysterectomy.
And that was just his first look at
your
and you don't know if when you go inside, right?
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
100%. And I think coming into the appointment, I was really ready to like fight this man to get a hysterectomy. I was like, I know that it's gonna be a 2-year fight. 2027 Elle is gonna get her hysterectomy. And when you're like pushing a boulder up a hill, and you're like, I'm ready. And the boulder turns into styrofoam. And then he's like, oh yeah, for sure. And then we can get you signed in, and then you can have your hysterectomy in 3 to 5 months. I go, what? Like, wait. And so I'm rolling down the hill with my like styrofoam ball. Like, I'm so confused. What happened? Like, I was gonna fight you, and you're on my side now. Like, what's going on? So as of right now, I still have yet to sign the consent form because I was like, I had a bit of a panic attack.
Well, it's a big decision. It's a big decision,
and not even the decision itself, because I had already been thinking about it. It was like going from theoretical to real. But going from theoretical to real in such a fast amount of time that threw me, because I was like, oh, like, I'm gonna have it in 2026, probably 2027. I've got this time, And he's like, oh no, we can get it in this year. I said, okay. He's like, here's some literature you can read, and then take your time, call us back, and then we can send the consent forms. So I'm giving myself to the end of the month, and then I'm going to make the call and be like, take my hardware. But yeah.
Wow.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I know that I've had a lot of friends who have told their friends that, like, dealing with fibroids, dealing with endometriosis, a hysterectomy was like the best decision for their quality of life.
Yeah.
So
I know some people, that's what their decision right now is. They're trying to figure out if that's the next step with it because of their fibroids.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a mental game too, because after he told me that, I was like, do I want kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it makes you question
Do
a
I-
lot of things.
all the babies that I see, I have a nephew now. I'm like, do I want to give him a cousin? Like,
yeah.
wait. And I went, wait. This is my uterus being like, well, Mary, don't kick me out yet. Don't evict me. And I'm like, I am the boss of us.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I love that. No, but it's so true.
Thank you so much, Elle, for sharing your story. We're honored. Obviously, we love having you here, but really to share this part of your life is, it makes a difference. And I know there's a lot of other Black women who are struggling with this. So thank you for sharing. And to our listeners, if this conversation resonates with you or made you think of someone else in your life that you know, please share this with them, because you never know who needs to hear it. And don't forget to continue this conversation offline with our upcoming podcasts as well that are happening. And also you can always join us at Black Women Connect Vancouver. We have different types of events where we focus on our wellness or we have holistic approaches and just making sure that Black women are taking care of themselves. And so thank you for tuning in. Until next time, you can find us on all podcast streaming podcasts.
Streaming platforms. There we go.
You got me nervous.
Eye contact.
Yeah.
I know. You both looked at me. I was like, wait.
We're like,
Am I
say it
saying it
right.
wrong?
Say it right, ma'am. Say it right. All streaming platforms, everybody. You can find us.
Or on YouTube, on our YouTube channel for Black Women Connect Vancouver. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to our podcast episode. You can find us in all streaming platforms, and you can watch our video recording up on YouTube channel, Black Women Connect Vancouver. Until next time.